Welcome to the IDP Hunter podcast. I'm your host, IDP Hunter Steve Hungarter, joined with Jamie Perog. Today we're going to talk about what we like to do this time of year. We like to talk about best balls, okay? Best balls are fun to me, Jamie, because I don't have to set a roster throughout the year. It's easy cleanup. I just draft it and I go. But we're in this tournament now called the Fast Draft, right? I feel like this is one of the greatest tournaments in the world, kind of like Mortal Kombat, you know?
Ready, fight.
You know, I'm ready to put the gloves up and do the Sub-Zero moves or what have you. But anyway, I'll let you talk about Fast Draft. What can you tell the audience what we've been up to, my friend?
Yeah, Fast Draft is awesome. I mean, if you only have about 10 minutes to do a draft, Fast Draft is perfect for you. You don't have to sit there for a whole hour to go through, 18, 20 rounds. It's just like a 6-round draft. We call it the Flex Four Frenzy. You get a 10-second time clock. There's 10 teams per league. You got the running backs, receivers, and tight ends available. There's no quarterbacks in the Flex Four Frenzy. So it's like a full season total PPR scoring, no position limits. You don't have to fill a roster with 2 running backs, 2 receivers. You can just set it up as however you want. So you got 150 max entry for each tournament. Every entry fee is $5 per entry.
Can't beat that. $5.
It is awesome, man. And let's say you don't have 10 minutes to do a draft. You could set Turbo Mode. Turbo Mode is a tool in Fast Draft that helps you join tons of leagues quickly all at once. You could set your own rankings. You choose how many teams you want, and Turbo Mode will use your list to pick the players and build your team automatically for you.
You know, for the audience that's on Spotify, YouTube, welcome in. We're on YouTube. I'm talking to Jamie Perog. We always do best ball drafts. It just so happens there's this Fast Draft tournament going on right now. We actually got a promo going right now. There's 2. If you're on Player Profiler, $25 off. If you type in Hunter, you get the all-in package. But for this draft specifically, this Fast Draft, you know, you got to download it to your phone, check your location. It's fastdraft.app. 100% first-time deposits. Match $50, promo code Hunter. They'll give you $50 back. Jimmy, you just said these are $5 drafts, right?
Yes, sir.
What? That gives you 20 shots to win this whole tournament, right?
Yeah,
and it's one of the best payouts going around right now. So I don't know about you. I've had some strategies, these drafts we've been doing together, and I'll pull one up on the screen. But what can you tell us to get prepared as far as this Fast Draft?
I usually go towards the receivers.
Me too.
They're safer in a way to where running backs, they have more of an injury risk. I know everyone has an injury risk, but running backs more so. But if I do target the running backs, I want pass catching running backs because of that full PPR. Touchdowns are volatile. So yeah, that's how I usually do it.
And on, while you're talking, wide receiver has a higher boom, just because of the way the modern NFL is right now. I mean, never in the history of fantasy football has wide receivers been more dominant early rounds. You know what I mean? We're seeing wide receiver 24s, heck, 34s that are getting the same value as RB12s, So my portfolio, I have a lot of wide receivers going throughout this. Now, granted, I'm not going to turn away a bell cow running back, but as you just said, you just alluded to, those guys get injured pretty quick. Jamie, I think in this format, wide receivers are key. Tough running backs are key. I think because it's only going a few rounds here, right? I think having healthy players is going to be the most important thing that we have. We can get through this tournament with our healthy players. I think we have a better shot of winning this thing. Thoughts there?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, we never want to draft injury-prone players, so that's key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm worried because this is a larger scale tournament. So if we all are thinking the same, that's kind of not good for business. So there's a couple detours I made. There's a couple pivots I made with this draft I'm about to pull up. And I'm just going to ask you about tight end. are you shy with the tight end and something like this? Or are you okay grabbing a George Kittle when other players are on the board? What's your rationale there?
Yeah, I'll target like the top 3, top 4 tight ends. The ones that are going to get most of the volume on their team. So if you have a tight end that's the number 1 target on their team, I'm not shying away from that.
Yeah, we talked that on the IDP episode, the one we did. Hey, I don't want defensive tackles, but if they're there and there's, 5th string running backs or linebackers, if you will, I'll take one. So I'll take the likes of a TJ Hawk and pray in his upside over somebody who's, wide receiver 3 on their team. But anyway, let's kick it off.
The one thing I love about Fast Draft is like once you draft, you can assign your captain boosters. You get like the 2 times, 1.7 times, 1.5 and 1.25. So you get to assign for your players, your boosters, and it defaults from your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pick. But you can change that after the draft, and I love that.
And that's something I want to pick your brain on because I'm not quite sure how to implement my boosters right now. Like you were saying, we get a couple boosters. You get the 2x, which doubles your score, the 1.75, the 1.5. Is there a certain strategy you have with those boosters, or it's just every portfolio is different?
Yeah, I would change it up. I think one of the drafts, who was it? Okay, so I got Chase Brown in the 3rd, and then 4th round I got Mike Evans. But I switched the boosters to put Mike Evans at that 1.5, and then I moved Chase Brown down to 1.25.
Yeah, I said it earlier, health's going to be a thing to win this tournament, but also the boosters. Whoever sets the boosters up in that crazy order, like some guy's going to have, I don't know, I'm making a name up. Some guy's going to have Palmer of the Bills, and he's going to just go off, and he's going to have like 2. I'm being funny, but two-time boosters, and that's going to change the whole thing around. But that's where the strategy comes in.
Yeah, and then the prizes for this tournament, first place they get $10,000, which is 20% of the pot. Like that's amazing. And then it goes all the way down, I believe 641st place to 1,770th place. They at least get $5 back. So you got your money back that you put into it.
I mean, a $5 draft, it's like a lotto ticket, scratch and sniff, right? Get $10,000 on the line. If you do our promo code Hunter, you get $50 back to match the 50 you put in. Or you can even use that for a player profiler all-in package. Just type in promo code Hunter. It's a good deal right now. And you know what, dude? At this time of year, there's no football. We don't have the NFL draft yet. So this just gives me something to do with my time.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I'm always trying to get into a draft, and
I see you all the time in there. That's what makes this neat.
And then it's funny because last year, I think they only did like 1 or 2 drafts, and they came in 1st place. So they got a huge sum of money just off of $5.
That's either a genius or a lucky person. I don't know which one. Hey, so I'm going to go over the draft that me and you did last night, and maybe you can kind of walk me through some of your thoughts here, because I thought what you built was really, really smart. So let's kick off this draft, and I'll kind of read them as we go. So in the 1st round, Jamar Chase went. In the 2nd round was my pick, and I kind of went off the grid a little bit. I've been doing that in ADP as well. Barkley's probably your 1.2. I went Justin Jefferson just because I wanted to build a strong receivers, like I said. So I don't feel like that was a reach. I think Barkley and Jefferson are 1.2, 1.3. But the guy right next to me did not hesitate. He took Barkley, followed by 1.4, Bijan Robinson, 1.5 Puka Nacua, 1.6 CeeDee Lamb, 1.7 Jahmyr Gibbs, 1.8 Nico Collins, 1.9 Malik Neighbors, and 1.10, because these are 10-team drafts, Brian Thomas. Standard quo there. You see anything in there you don't like? See anything in there you do like? What you thinking?
I think Puka went a little too early with the 5th pick. I didn't expect that. So I was at the 7th spot. I went Jameer Gibbs. I thought he was going to be gone. So I was going to pivot and take Malik Neighbors. I was debating him or Brian Thomas, but I just like Neighbors with those full PPR points. That's going to be a huge advantage for someone like Neighbors. But Gibbs, I mean, Gibbs gets the touchdowns, he gets rushes, he gets pass catching. So I don't hate my pick at all.
Hey, I have some reservations. This is already the first round. When I look right in the middle of the list here, 1.6 CeeDee Lamb. I get it. It's CeeDee Lamb. Is that too rich for your blood? What are you thinking there, Jamie?
I don't mind it. Dak's going to be healthy. And if they do bring someone in, it's going to be a rookie, I think. So I still think CeeDee Lamb is going to get peppered with targets.
I don't know. I see everything else around him. I see the Robinsons, the Gibbses. I kind of would rather those builds than the CeeDee Lamb build. But I see your point. And if I was to get critical on one owner, I'd say that 1.2 Justin Jefferson me over to Barkley. That can be disputed a lot. I can see a lot more builds with Barkley. I just didn't want a running back with my first pick. I feel like running backs I can get later, especially catching running backs. And then also Justin Jefferson, it wasn't that long ago when he was the number 1 wide receiver. A couple years ago, he was your top dog. I refuse to punt Justin Jefferson. That's just me,
I like your pick. I mean, Barkley. I mean, how many running backs have actually repeated over the years?
Thank you.
There's a thing, if you get over 300 carries, you're gonna dip down the next following year. So I don't blame you. Like I would have went Barkley personally, or maybe I would have went Bijan.
See, I get so rigid in these drafts because it's like, you play the ADP game as much as you can because you don't want to lose points each round by position. But I wanted a team with, a Chase, a Jefferson type of player in that beginning of the draft. One more question for you, and I'll move on to second round. 1.8 Nico Collins, and I know this is the batting order. 1.9 Malik Neighbors, 1.10 Brian Thomas. I kind of like Neighbors and Thomas over Nico Collins, huh?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. See, I don't feel good about Collins, especially when they got other stuff there. I don't know, but I get it. Everyone's drafting him there, but him and Lamb are probably the most volatile in the first round. And I would say Barkley's probably going to go ahead of Jefferson. If I was to critique this thing, again, it's a $5 draft. You can't go wrong. You want to build your team with different players each time you do it. But that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. I would have went Neighbors and Thomas, I think, over Nico Collins. Now in the second round here, I see Ashton Genty went 201. That's a little too rich for my blood. I would rather have A-Chain, St. Brown. I took Bowers.
Same thing we said with Abdul Carter on the IDP one. I don't trust a rookie yet. I mean, he's just coming into the league. I know he's the chosen one, but you're right, because it was a snake draft. 2.1 was Ashton Genty. 2.2 was Ahmad St. Brown. 2.3 was Devon A-Chain. 2.4, your pick, great pick, Brock Bowers. 2.5, Derrick Henry. 2.6, Trey McBride. We're seeing a run on elite tight ends here. 2.7, Jonathan Taylor. 2.8, Ladd McConkey. I'll tell you what, that's late. I would probably take him a little bit earlier. I was hoping he'd fall to me. He didn't. So with my 2.9, I took A.J. Brown. And in 2.10, CMC. That's all your second round. Who do you like? Who do you not like?
Well, you mentioned Ladd McConkey, A.J. Brown. I keep going back and forth. I do a lot of underdog drafts. And if I'm in that middle of the second round area, I've had so many times where I had to choose between those two, and I'll switch them off. I'll take Ladd over Brown, and I'll take Brown over Ladd. I think they're just super close.
Yeah, I think I would take A-Chain over Genty. So, when we're looking at the ADP there, I think that can be gamed a little bit.
Yeah, remember last year, people were taking Marvin Harrison where people are taking Genty.
I mean, if you just
didn't
look
work
at that
out.
pick, if you look at that pick, you could have A-Chain, Derrick Henry's another one, Jonathan Taylor, and the great CMC. I don't think I would take Robinson or Genty where they got picked, to be honest. But then again, I'm not a firm believer of building my team around running backs, you know?
Yeah, and we don't know how many targets he's going to get. We don't even have an offense he's in. So what if he only gets 1 or 2, maybe 3 targets a game? That's not going to be that many points extra.
What's interesting is me and you, 2 rounds in, we have different builds. You got Jamar Gibbs and Brock Bowers, arguably elite running back, elite tight end. You have it locked down. Then I have Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, elite wide receivers, wide receiver ones on their team. So it's like we're building different ways. I feel this is more fluid like water, like Bruce Lee used to say, you got to move like water kind of a thing. Because I'm not hinged to like drafting by position. So I'm kind of off kilter. I'm kind of off the grid a little bit. Speaking of off the grid, the next part of this draft is a little bit crazy because there's a 3rd round reverse. Any other draft, I'm getting a pick here. So I got to wait a whole another 10 picks. So in the 3rd round, the ADP goes a little bit crazy. Let me read this to you, okay? The 3rd round, we get 3.1, you got Drake London. 3.2, Bucky Irving. That was nice to see. 3.3, Garrett Wilson. By the dip. 3.4, T. Higgins. 3.5, Breece Hall. 3.6, Josh Jacobs. 3.7, I like this pick, Jackson Smith. 3.8, Kyron Williams. I'm kind of sitting there at 3.9. I'm trying to buy into my elite wide receiver theory. I get Mike Evans there. He's done nothing but showed me love over the years.
I love that pick.
The last pick of this round, 3.10, Alvin Kamara. Who do you like? Who don't you like? What picks in here stick out to you?
I love your Mike Evans pick. I've taken him when I was in your spot in another draft. I got him on turn in the 4th pick.
Really?
But you got to get your guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you would have skipped Mike Evans, I think the guy after you would have taken him because he got Devontae Adams and Alvin Kamara. I'd rather have Mike Evans over those guys. So good pick by you. My pick.
That's what my thought process was, Jamie, because like I want elite wide receivers. At some point, I got to at least have one running back, at least one for some solid grade. And I'm looking at this board. I got to pick in 3 moves. And my rationale was Kamara's there, Kenneth Walker, people are sleeping on, as you know, and James Cook are there. So I know in the next round, I'm going to get an elite running back regardless. Let me dry up all these wide receivers.
And you could have even went DJ Moore. That would have been fine too.
Yes.
But with my pick, I went with Higgins. I was debating Higgins and JSN. I just like those huge weeks Higgins could put up. They just paid him a bunch of money, so it's going to be him and Chase. I was hoping Drake London was going to fall, but he went, 3 picks before me. With Drake London, some people may be down on him, but when Penix was playing, he targeted Drake London 35% of the team's targets, and 40% of the team's air yards all went to Drake London. So I think Drake London is going to have a great year if he plays a full season with Penix.
There's a couple buts in this round, and the first one that jumps out to me is T. Higgins. Here's what's interesting, what you just said. The big concern with Higgins was, but will he be a Bengal? Will he get re-signed? He did. He got the money. Yeah. That's it. The ADP has not caught up to what we know as this player. So buy the dip right now. So you heard it here. If T. Higgins is sitting around a 3rd round, it's a wide receiver 1 just sitting there. The ADP hasn't caught up yet. So I think that's a sleeper there. Then there's other question marks too, like Breece Hall. Is he going to be in a committee? Is he going to get traded? Garrett Wilson. The Jets in general. You know what I mean? What's the Falcons offense going to look like? I'm kind of thinking okay with Drake London, but there's a lot of what ifs in here in this 3rd round. I don't want to build my team, especially my top 3 picks on what ifs. I want guys like a Higgins, a Mike Evans, and AJ Brown that I know what they can do. You know what I mean? So again, we're talking about the top 60 here. I don't have to take many shots. The fourth round here, Jamie, it kind of cleans up a little bit. Fourth round, you got Devontae Adams, 4.1. 4.2, I took James Cook. I needed a running back somewhere. 4.3, DJ Moore. 4.4, Chuba Hubbard. 4.5, Chase Brown. 4.6, Tyreek Hill. 4.7, Terry McLaurin. 4.8, Omario Hampton. That's where I would usually think a rookie running back would go, but I digress. 4.9, George Pickens. And finally, the last pick in this round, Marvin Harrison Jr. Jamie, there's a lot to chew on in this round. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you liking? What are you seeing?
Well, I'm liking your James Cook. I know he only gets like 50% snaps, but he's very efficient, and when he's in there, he's being used. He had tons of touchdowns last year. I can't remember the exact amount, 14, 15, something like that. It might go down a little bit, but even if he gets 10 touchdowns, that's still a great pick in the fourth round.
I mean, in that note, too, I was just going to say what makes me nervous is that 4.4, 4.5 range, the Chuba Hubbards, the Chase Browns.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of those two picks. I know they got Rico Dowdle now, which probably is going to be like that 30, 40% of snaps, just to like give Chuba Hubbard a break. But who knows, man? I would have skipped Hubbard. I also would have skipped Chase Brown. I know he also did awesome last year, but I still see Cincinnati bringing in a running back possibly day 2 in the draft. And if they do, like, Chase Brown should be a 6th-round pick maybe in this format. Maybe not even a pick at all. But my pick, I went with Terry McLaurin. I love this pick. Even in my boosters, what I did is I had T. Higgins in the 3rd round, Terry McLaurin in the 4th. I would have took Terry McLaurin where I took T. Higgins, honestly. So I actually did switch those boosters where I put Terry McLaurin my 1.5 and move T. Higgins down to the 1.25.
2 talking points for you this round. And you already started off. If you're blessed with an early pick like me, like I'm at the 2 spot.
Hold on, you're cutting out a little bit. I couldn't understand.
Oh, I'm saying if you're blessed with the 1.2 like I was, the 2nd spot, and you go wide receiver elite early. I got 3 wide receiver ones, Jefferson Brown and Mike Evans, right?
Yeah.
I still had enough space left because people were gobbling RBs early. They're playing like it's 1990 again, okay? James Cook was available. Kenneth Walker was available. Alvin Kamara was available. Guys like that. If you look after that, okay, assuming you believe in Kyron Williams, which is fine, but after that James Cook pick, right, Chuba Hubbard, Chase Brown, Omario Hampton, the rookie, and then it gets a little worse from there. You have guys like James Conner, ? Guys like Kenneth Walker, Tyrone Tracy, all those guys coming down
Joe
the board.
Mixon, yeah.
Yeah, it dries up right there. So if you're going to wait, if you got an early pick like me and you're blessed with that 2 spot and you got the 3rd round reversal against you, that's where you strike on the running back because it dries up. Wide receiver's been good and plenty to us. And I just want to make another point here. Comment on our draft board. Going back to you like I did the first 2 picks, your top 4 picks, Gibbs and Bowers. Your next 2 picks, you went wide receiver Hart, Higgins, and McLaurin. You timed that right because after Tyreek Hill, after I don't know what you like here, DJ Moore, there really isn't anything left unless you like the Marvin Harrison types, the Rashad White, the Rices, the Xavier Worthies. There's some question marks, the Roma Dunze. You hit the end of the wide receiver run, and I hit the end of the running back run, and we crushed that 4th round.
Yeah, I agree. With Rashee Rice, I was thinking about taking him with my 5th pick, but he went 1 spot ahead. It just worries me. I don't know if he's going to be suspended, if he's fully healthy coming back. Just a lot of question marks around him. But when he does play, he is that top 12. So that could be a value.
I'm going to read the last 2 rounds together. You tell me what you're thinking, okay? Fair?
Yep. Let's go.
Okay, so and I'll let that play the draft out there for us. But when we got to after Marvin Harrison Jr., the 5.1 was McMillan, the rookie, and then 5.2.
No way. 5-1 was Xavier Worthy.
Oh, I had it backwards. I
Yeah.
apologize. The way that screen looks, I apologize. Yeah, you're right. 5.1 was Xavier Worthy. 5.2 was Joe Mixon. 5.3 was Rice. 5.4 was George Kittle by you. 5.5 was Kenneth Walker. 5.6 Zay Flowers. 5.7 DK Metcalf. He's buried in ADP too. I kind of like that. 5.8 James Conner. I didn't like after Metcalf went off the board. I don't like the wide receivers in here. So I took TJ Hawkins in. I figured I rationalized the upside maybe. And then finally, the last one this round was the rookie McMillan, followed by the next round. We had the rookie Trevon Hendrickson. I took Shakir of the Bills, and that might be one of my boosters just to see if he's the wide receiver one there. When in doubt, and you see my rationale, I had a bunch of wide receiver ones this draft. Chris Godwin went next. Jordan Addison went. He went 6.4. David Montgomery 6.5. Devontae Smith went late 6.6. Tyrone Tracy 6.7. Isaiah Pacheco 6.8. Judkins the rookie 6.9. Roma Dudze the final pick of this draft. Was there anyone in particular that jumped out to you, or was this just more like take your guys the last two rounds?
Yeah, the last two rounds, take your guys, especially the very, very last round. I was debating Odunze, but I've been taking a lot of Odunze, so I decided to go Tyrone Tracy. Just the usage that he got last year, I think he's going to put up some points, especially there's no one really else in that backfield, and I don't see him drafting another running back this year. So
I don't think they can.
with the George Kittle pick in the 5th round, he's going to be the number one target on San Francisco, and I'm getting him in the 5th round. Like he's the lead. He's got touchdown upside. He's going to be a PPR monster. So I love that. I might actually think about putting him as a booster, but I don't think I could put him over Higgins or McLaurin.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that between Gibbs, Bowers, Higgins, McLaurin, Kittles, Tyrone Tracy, all good picks. Do you have a plan on how you're going to use your 2X booster?
Yeah, I'm keeping it on Jahmyr Gibbs. It's so hard, man, because I might even switch Bowers and Gibbs. I might put Bowers as my 2X and then move Gibbs down to my 1.75 just to be a little spicy.
The final part of this episode, I want to kind of go with you. You look on Fast Draft and you look at the tournament data, it shows you the ADP. I'm looking at the ADP, and it's usually your typical suspect, your usual suspects, the Chase, the Barkleys, the Jeffersons. I think Bijan at 4 is a little high. What do you think?
No, I like Bijan. Yeah, I was actually thinking of taking him over Barkley a few times just to diversify, because every time I get to 101, I usually take Chase. When I get to 102, I usually take Barkley. So I have a lot of those guys.
You don't like Puka at 5, though, right?
Not really, especially with Adams there. I still think Puka will be fine. It's just that the red zone, he's going to take all those red zone targets away from Puka.
Genty at 15, he's a rookie, man. I don't know. That's a little too rich for my blood. It's just the way I play. You can say A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey can be switched around. The way that Eagles offense runs, it's all running back. A.J. gets a little. Devontae Smith's not only getting leftovers nowadays. So I guess that's why he fell so hard in drafts. But these are still talented players, Yeah. I'm just curious to you. Is there anybody, in the top 30, 40? Is too high on these ADPs here?
Well, I'm staying away from Hampton. I love the guy. I love his talent. It's just I don't know where he's going. I don't know his team. So in a smaller draft like this, where you only draft 6 rounds, I'm going to stay away from the volatility of the unknown right now, and I'm not drafting many rookies.
Yeah, honestly, when I look at it, it's the running backs that we said, the Mixons, the Hubbas, I can't even talk right now. All those running backs, the Chase Browns that are in the middle there, I'd rather a wide receiver there. And then I think George Pickens gives me the biggest question mark because I don't know what to do with that. He's all the way at 37.
Yeah, like him and I'd be higher on Metcalf if Pickens got traded. But right now, I'm staying away from both of them right now because they're pretty much the same player. Metcalf's going to get probably more targets than Pickens, and it could go either way any week.
Because to be honest with you, when we get to George Pickens, there's like 12 players under him that I'd rather have, like the Walkers, the Flowers, the Montgomerys, the Kittles.
Yeah.
Worthy is incredibly low. I guess people aren't sure. Worthy and Rice, for that matter. I guess people aren't sure who the one's going to be. That's been debated. Is Rice going to get suspended? What have you? That's probably what's going on there. But I think one of those guys, if you get it right, much like our IDP episode, if you guess the right linebacker, you get the right wide receiver here, your team's going to be amazing.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm staying away from like a Pacheco. He went third last pick. Let's see who else in the third round. Travion Henderson, like I mentioned about Hampton, we just don't know yet.
And then
same with Quinton Judkins.
I got 3 more for you, and I went outside. I wanted to go super deep because that's kind of where I play. Devontae Adams, 49th. I mean, he can blow that ADP away. We know Devontae Adams because he's just older. Devontae Smith, the system doesn't favor it, but he's still Devontae Smith, Heisman winning Devontae Smith. The 2 that I really like, and you can debate this too if you like, 55 DK Metcalf, 56 Jordan Addison. 55 DK Metcalf, he's paid big boy money to be a top elite wide receiver for the Steelers. So I'm expecting that. I expect that ADP to change as we get closer in drafts. And then lastly, Addison. I like Addison. I mean, now granted, there was circumstance that made him who he was. I would have took Addison with my last pick in the 6th round. But I already had Jefferson. In drafts like this, I like to diversify my portfolio. I don't want to hitch myself to one team. So that's why I kind of pivoted. I went Shakir. But if I didn't have Jefferson there, I would have took Addison.
Yeah, I mean,
you have thoughts on those guys?
Yeah, I mean, you also took Hockenson, so definitely you don't want 3 on the same.
Yeah.
I don't mind, like, if you got Jefferson in the 1st, taking Addison in the 6th if you didn't have Hockenson. I don't.
You got in my head, because Jamie. You were taking all the good tight ends off the board. I'm like, let me get at least one.
Yeah. And then who else were we talking about? Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
I did a draft where I think I was the 2nd pick, but I had AJ Brown, just like I believe you have AJ Brown. And then with one of my last picks, I went Devonta Smith because in case AJ Brown doesn't have a good game, who's going to have that good game? It's going to be Devonta Smith. And if he's my 6th player, I mean, that's really no risk as long as he's in my lineup 2, 3, 4 times during the year. I'm fine with it, especially if AJ Brown gets less than 10 points that week.
I mean, the way I built my team, pretty simple. I had 4 elite wide receiver ones. You know what I mean? The Jeffersons, the Browns, the Mike Evans, the Shakir. If Shakir is going to be the wide receiver one Bills, I think so. Then I got an elite tight end in there just for sprinkles, and I took the last James Cook running back type that I know there. That's how I built my team. I feel good about that. How do you feel about your team, Jamie?
I don't hate it. I like it. It's different than what I usually do in my other fast drafts. I got 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and 2 tight ends. Usually I don't have any tight ends because they don't fall to me, but I think I got both of them at a good value. Brock Bowers, I've seen Bowers go in the 1st round in these drafts sometimes, and if not, early 2nd. So he doesn't really fall to that 204. Also, the 2 tight ends I do have, Bowers and Kittle, they're the number 1 targets on their team. Those are the type of tight ends that you want if you go after a tight end.
Yeah, I hear you. After the top 5, I probably wouldn't.
McBride, he's not going to be the top target. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr., if there's someone drafts Laporta's not the top target. I mean, Hawkinson, I know you got him pretty late. He's reliable.
That's why I did it.
But he's like the second or third target on a weekly basis.
Yeah. So if you're taking a tight end who's the third target on his team, you're banking on those touchdowns, which is a scary place to be, Hey, Jamie, did we leave anything out this episode? I know we talked best ball formats, what to do when you're in there, check your scoring, check your formats. We talked about this fast draft in general, but is there any tips that we didn't say? Is there anything you wanted to tell the audience at home?
Don't play it safe, shoot for upside, and just go with the best player that you think is going to score more points. You don't have to fill a roster. You don't have to have a running back and a tight end. Also, fast draft, they have a Flex Four. It's a free entry draft. It has $1,000 in promo prizes. So download the app, check out the free one, and just do a couple of those, see how you like it. And then make sure you throw in like $50 and use the code Hunter. You'll get a $50 deposit match. That's free money, like free entries. Then there's the Origin draft, all rookies. That's fun. I'm going to start doing some of those soon.
I was going to ask you, because I did the Flex and I've done the IDP. Maybe me and you can do a couple Origins and then we can do another podcast.
I did. I went through and I set my Origin rankings in fast draft, so I'm ready to go whenever. Okay. But yeah, and then like in fast draft, they have like these what do they call them? Like little, not stickers, but award. Like if you get us to a certain amount of drafts or you win a certain amount of money, they put that on your name so people can see that you're an experienced drafter. So that they have three levels. Like they have beginners, they have experienced, and then they have a highly experienced level. So I believe if you win like $2,500 in prizes and you do a certain amount of drafts, you automatically get that experienced tag. Which is kind of
These are so fun to play with you because like we're learning the ADP, we're learning new stuff as we go, and this is a whole community thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I love that
so many people in there we know.
And I love that they have a portfolio, so you could you could check your exposures. So like right now, I have 33% of Brian Thomas, 33% or 22% of Malik Neighbors, and then I always check that just before I hop into the draft because I don't want to keep drafting the same players over and over again, right? So you want to diversify in big tournaments like this.
Heck yeah. Well, that's all I got for this episode, Jamie. It was so good having you on. Tell the audience where they can find you.
I'm on Twitter, Jamie Perog, and I'm also doing a Dynasty episode over at Fantasy Six Pack. We go live every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern. I think tomorrow we're doing our rookie wide receiver rankings. So come check us out. Drop comments in the chat, ask your questions. We're always there to help.
And then check out me and Jamie. I too am on the Fantasy Six Pack. Check out our award-winning rankings. Check out our rookie magazine that we just came out with. There's over 300 players profiled. 200 of them are IDP. So it's me, Jamie, and CK. Over there on Fantasy Pros, we've been writing away profiles and rankings and grades for these players. So check that out while you're at it. And like I said, I'm Steve Hungarter, IDP Hunter. This is Jamie Perog. This completes this episode, and hopefully we'll do more of these as we go. When we learn some stuff, we'll come on and we'll share it with you guys. It's all about the love of the game and the fun of doing this. So you guys.
Fast draft. Say that 3 times fast.
Get it. And talk hard, everybody. Take care.